Hello and welcome to Real Watchers Movie Club. My name is Garrett.
And I'm Kevin.
And we are your hosts. Movie Club is the show where we pick a movie every week and discuss it, just like a book club. On today's show, we are concluding our June month-long theme of looking at films that won Best Picture at the Venice Film Festival. And our film this week is the drama Last Year at Marienbad. Our thoughts and more coming up on Movie Club. Released in 1961, Last Year at Marienbad was directed by Elaine Resnais and stars Delphine Seyrig, Giorgio Albertazzi, and Sasha Pitov. Sorry if there's any mispronunciation of those names. At a weekend gathering, a man tells a woman that they had spent time there together a year prior. But the woman has no recollection whatsoever and is convinced that he is simply fabricating the encounter. The more he speaks about their activities the previous year, however, the more compelling he becomes. The question remains, did they meet previously or not? The film currently has a 4.1 out of 5 on Letterboxd. It was nominated for one Academy Award for Best Original Screenplay. Before we dive into our thoughts, though, we do want to issue a spoiler warning for the movie. We don't want to ruin it for you, so go ahead and check it out if you have a chance, and then come back here. It might be a little hard to find. I actually had to purchase this movie to be able to even watch it. Not rent it. I had to actually buy it. But I don't know how Kevin watched it. We'll figure that out. But anyhow, if you haven't seen the film yet, again, come back later. It's fine. But stay tuned to the end of the show to find out not only what movie we're covering next week, but what the new theme will be for July. All right, Kevin. So Last Year at Marienbad was my pick this week. And honestly, there's no real reason why I picked it. It was on the list of Venice Film Festival winners. And the poster looked cool. So I had no idea what this movie was about and had no idea what I was getting us into. But had you heard about this movie at all?
No, absolutely not.
Easy answer there. This makes it simple. Obviously, this is a very kind of different movie, as we'll kind of dive into. But let's kind of go over some spoiler-free reactions before we dive into what we think. Kevin, what were some of your spoiler-free reactions?
Spoiler-free reactions. It's a very different kind of movie, but interesting as well, especially for the time that it was made in. And it's more of I feel like a dialogue movie than anything else, which is not a bad thing. But so I enjoyed it.
Gotcha. And I feel like the way I walked away from this is very different from how most people walked away from it. And I don't know why, but I really enjoyed this movie. We'll talk about it as we get into it. But I think for different reasons. This movie is billed as kind of a romantic drama. It's kind of supposed to be more of a romance between the two characters, which are A and M, I believe, or what their initials are. So I didn't get that at all, man. I thought this was a very creepy movie. I thought it was more, I don't want to say a horror movie, but it was definitely something like more akin to a horror movie for me.
Do you know what I think this movie, another movie that came out maybe 2-3 years ago, reminded me of this movie? Do you know what it is?
No. What do you think?
Twice.
Oh, interesting.
Like it was,
I could see some of the comparisons.
Very similar with again. I guess we're going through spoilers, but
let's just dive into it.
Yeah, with the photographs that she finds every single year and stuff like that in her drawer. I was like, okay, Channing Tatum had a photo every single time that they were on the island and stuff like that. So I've really got that. Like, blinked twice, saw this movie and said, okay, let's remake it, but make it a little bit different.
Sure. I'm actually going to go ahead and say that this is, I think from what you're saying, you would do a double feature with the two of these movies.
Yeah, that would be very interesting.
I'm going to go ahead and throw this into a very different double feature.
Okay.
I would want to watch this with Backrooms. Because for me, this movie is a liminal space.
Yes.
The movie itself, in the way that I kind of, not anticipated, the way that I kind of interpreted it, is obviously everything that happens, it happens out of order. It doesn't seem to follow the logic of time or space or anything. But this entire reality is all completely constructed by memory of these events.
Mhm.
These events don't happen necessarily the way they remember them, which is why they change. We see events from different angles.
Yep.
And in the kind of the way that I interpreted this is that this entire film is a construction, a reality is constructed by their shared experiences, their shared memory. And that's why none of it feels quite right. Why people aren't moving in the background, why things never are what they appear to be.
That so eerie when they're just all just standing there, and it's just a voice, and then sometimes somebody comes out and is talking, but it's just it's so eerie and interesting. Like you said, it's more of a thriller kind of horror-ish movie in that aspect of it.
Not that it's scary, it's just creepy.
Yeah,
but I think unintentionally so.
Unintentionally, but it is like that backrooms kind of thing where, dude, I was very interested when it first happened, when they just stand there and I was hearing the people talk and everything. Like, I'm like, but no one's talking on my screen, like no lips are moving, but everybody's in freeze frame. And it kind of reminded myself, I'm like, oh yeah, because it's going through the past, so they're trying to reconcile like what actually happened, so they wouldn't have people moving around. They were trying to think about what they were doing in that time, which is very interesting. And then only a couple of people will move in the background or in the foreground. Not everybody would,
like when it's necessary. It's like it's just so unsettling. And actually, I was watching an interview with Edgar Wright, the director of Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead, who compares this movie to The Shining, which also is considered a liminal space type movie. So, and I definitely get those comparisons. Like, it's a creepy kind of hotel environment that is, it is changing based on what people are remembering. And not to focus this review too much on a comparison to the Backrooms, but it does remind me of the Backrooms because this is an entire place constructed by memory, whereas the Backrooms is all based on like nostalgia and memory, and it's almost like a cosmic entity trying to mirror our reality.
Yes,
this one is just a reality constructed by memory and experience, and the kind of the differences in those, and it's really interesting. Obviously, I think the two main characters are just supposed to be the two main characters. The other gentleman, I think X is the name.
Yes.
Very interesting character. A lot. I kind of got the gist that he was the husband of the main woman.
Yes.
But there's also, I've seen some discussion that he is actually supposed to be like a Grim Reaper type figure.
Oh.
Or like a kind of like a warden of this reality kind of a thing. Kind of in the way that he plays the game and his appearance and everything. It's very creepy, but I do like the performances. I think they're weirdly emotionless.
Yes, I was going to say very stale.
Yeah.
Like a Wes Anderson.
Yeah, but I would say better than Wes Anderson, because this has like it's whether unintentionally or intentionally, it is creepy, and it feeds into that vibe that I get off the movie, and it's like what you get off of it too. Where it's just nothing feels quite right. And
yes, it's just something is off, and even the camera work plays with this as well. Like it has a person in the foreground, but you should be looking in the mirror that's behind them because they are talking in the mirror. And then you have this cool shot at the end where it's the main woman, and it's 3 reflections of the main woman. And it looks so good at the same time. It's her facing the camera, her looking at a mirror, and the mirror looking at the camera. And it's like, what the? It was, especially for the time, I was like very impressed with how they made me feel so uncomfortable with just a little bit of camera work.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's definitely very creepy and unsettling. And like you said, the cinematography is spectacular. Everything when it comes to the garden.
Yes.
We're like, that outside area is just gorgeous, but it's also like, again, it feels off. It just doesn't feel natural.
And it's nothing really happens in the garden. It just goes straight through the garden. And it's like, is that them trying to remember? So like the garden is like a pause for them. It's like, okay, pause. Let's see if we can get to the next memory kind of thing. That's what I got from it.
It's like, like an in-between kind of a thing, like a transitionary space
Yeah.
or a transitionary point.
Mhm.
But also just like it feels different every time you look at it. Like, I mean, I'm
Mhm.
sure it's the same because this is the 1960s. They're not putting that much effort into making you realize that you weren't paying attention.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
but it's just unsettling in this movie. It's weird because I see so many people talking about how it's so romantic and everything. I also do want to talk about the fact that I think this movie is very like the romance
Mhm.
feels a bit rapey.
It feels, yeah. I
Like
see what you mean.
it's kind of off-putting sometimes.
Mhm.
Like, are you taking advantage of this woman's memory, kind of a thing? Like,
Are you trying to manipulate her to thinking what you're thinking, kind of a thing too?
yeah. And there's like the part where they're just like kind of like fondling each other out in the garden. And I'm just like, I don't think people in the 60s would have done that. Maybe I'm
Yeah.
wrong, but it was just kind of a little odd. Sorry, the grate just fell off my computer. But yeah, I mean, like it's a little weird. Like everything just feels off about this movie, and I think that's why I like it as much as I do.
Yeah, I think it gives you, it's it's a very open-ended book, that you, when you watch the movie, it's very like you can like you took go. I didn't feel any romance in this movie. All I felt was creepiness, and it's kind of like a bad trip on drugs, and you're trying to talk to your friend and see what the hell happened last night, kind of a thing.
Yeah, it doesn't make it easy for you to try and understand what's going on. It doesn't give you easy answers, and it's not
No.
going to work with you. It is leaving it all up to your interpretation. And the fact that every single person that watches this movie has a different interpretation is brilliant. And to this day, it's still incredibly controversial. I mean, for its time, it was like you either loved or hated it.
Yeah.
And it still seems to be the case now. And I think that it's a brilliant piece of early filmmaking in this kind of weird structural stylistic niche that
Yeah.
hadn't really been done yet. I'm really interested to see the rest of Alain Resnais's films, because if there anything is well directed as this, I mean, this is really the only feature film I've seen of his. He also did the documentary from 1956, Night and Fog, which is the first documentary, I think, of the Holocaust.
Okay.
But he has a long and storied career, so I'm really interested to check out the rest of it. And it kind of looks very surreal from everything I'm seeing. So I'm really excited to check a lot of that out.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's just so interesting how we kind of got the same thing out of this movie, but it's just so amazing how different we feel about it with other people too, because
Yeah.
it's like those open-ended stories like After Sun that we checked out this month and everything like that at the very end when you don't know what actually happened. But this one is just, it's so eerie and creepy, but it's supposed to be a romance, and I'm like, where does that romance kind of start and end? But it's when they're in the bedroom and she keeps changing her outfits too, which I thought was very brilliant of them to do. Oh, you were in a black dress. No, I think I was in a white dress that time or something like that. And it plays on their memories, and it plays on you because you're like, well, again, they don't tell you who's telling the truth in this, all of this. So
it's so interesting. It's just so different, and I think that's what makes it stand out, especially for its time, and even now. Like I would be honestly surprised if this didn't factor into the Backrooms in some way. And Kane Parsons, like did he find this movie and take some of it? Because, or not take some, but like some of that same feel, because it definitely feels very similar. I mean, like I'm even looking now at like some of the pictures of Marienbad from the movie, and like the hotel looks like the outside shots of The Shining. Like it literally has like some direct mirrors. And I'm looking up here that this film did profoundly influence Stanley Kubrick and The Shining. Specifically the labyrinthine hotel, the dreamlike and impossible architecture, the temporal confusion. Yeah, it's very, very creepy. And a lot of people actually think that The Shining is a sequel to this, which is kind of funny. Like
interesting.
A litter of hotels that are just influencing people directly. But yeah, I mean, I really don't think there's a lot to hate about this movie. I understand people not liking it because of its structure, because of its lack of easy answers. It's not telling you what this movie is really about. and I can see some
Mhm.
struggling with that. I can see some
Yeah.
lack of confidence in the film, but I really enjoyed it. I think this movie's beautiful. I think that it is really creepy and unsettling, and I think that by looking at it from that horror lens actually made me enjoy it more.
Yeah, and even like looking at the poster or uh, the poster of this movie where it's hand drawn and then it has the garden in the background. You don't see a lot of hand drawn posters in the 50s anymore. It's mostly pictures, so that made it even more creepier watching it afterwards as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, absolutely. It looks fantastic. I'm so glad we finally checked this out. So this was my pick this week. I'll go ahead and wrap things up with my final thoughts and review. I think that Last Year in Marienbad, to me, is an incredibly unsettling film, something that should be viewed alongside Backrooms and The Shining, and I would say also Exit 8, which is another very similar liminal movie.
Mm. Mhm.
This movie definitely, I think, serves as inspiration for a lot of what we see in the liminal horror space right now, maybe unintentionally. But I think that this is really cool. The performances are fantastic. The way that it's shot and written is incredible,
Mhm.
and it's really ahead of its time. I do think that I wish it played more into the creepiness and kind of unsettling stuff, and more of the the mysterious, instead of being like a romantic drama.
Mhm.
Which, because on that regard, it does feel a little off. But maybe that's just my own sensibilities of like wanting to be like a liminal space movie. But
Mhm.
I really did like this movie. I think it's really far ahead of its time, stylistically and
Oh,
structurally,
yeah.
and I love it for that reason. So I gave it a 90 out of 100, which is a 4.5 stars out of 5.
Nice, very cool. Yeah, didn't expect anything of this movie, and it just blew my mind because of how incredible it was for the time it was made in as well. Which was it was so eerie and creepy. I guess a little bit of romance, but again, like you, I just thought it was just crazy creepy, and it was just there, and it just had me very unsettled because of how the cameras worked, the cinematography, and just how gorgeous it looks. Even though it's in black and white, it still looks absolutely fantastic. You get the characters that you want, and it's not all meshed and mumbo jumbled with so many characters. It is three characters straight to the point, which it has, some people will say, has no point. And I can't disagree or agree with them because I think this is a fantastic movie. I really enjoyed it. I gave it a 97 out of 100.
Wow, 97.
Mhm.
Gotta love it. But question now falls to you. What do you think of Last Year at Marienbad? Go ahead and leave those thoughts down in the comment section down below. Just remember to be respectful of one another, because one of you might have the actual memory.
Mhm.
But next week we are starting our July month-long theme. And drum roll, please, the theme is going to be films from before the 1940s. So we're looking at films from the 1930s on, or kind of earlier. And our first film is going to be the 1936 horror film Revolt of the Zombies. So very excited to cover this movie. That comes out on Friday next week. So make sure you're subscribed so you know when it goes live. Of course, we also have our weekly live stream every single Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So make sure you're subscribed so you know when that goes live as well. And that's it. Thanks so much for watching. And until next time, make sure to keep those eyes on the screen.